เสริมสรรค์
Animals are born every day. Frogs, dogs, birds, and many more. But once in a while, nature surprises us with creatures so rare, they leave us speechless. Get ready for a fascinating journey through stories that will surprise you, make you curious, and maybe even tug at your heartstrings. Today, we are exploring the unbelievable world of unusual animals that seem like they belong to another planet.
Looks like it might have a separation right in the middle, but I don't know. I mean, if it lives long enough.
Number 19, smallest horse. Some animals are born to stand out, and Einstein the horse is one of them. Unlike most ponies, which weigh a few hundred pounds, Einstein is closer in size to a large dog. Born in New Hampshire on April 22, 2010, he entered the world at just 6 pounds and 14 inches tall. That made him the smallest newborn horse ever recorded. For comparison, a full-sized horse can weigh over 1,000 pounds. Even mini horses, which are much smaller, usually reach around 200 pounds. Einstein? He barely hits 80 pounds. He is far too small to be ridden, but his size makes him impossible to ignore. Some mini horses with dwarfism suffer from serious health problems and need surgery to survive, but Einstein doesn't have those issues. At 2 months old, he did face a major challenge, a spinal cord injury that could have been fatal. He underwent a groundbreaking surgery and made a full recovery, proving that even the smallest horse can have a big spirit. A horse like Einstein is the kind of thing most kids could only dream of having. But he's truly one of a kind. The chances of another mini horse being this tiny are nearly zero. For now, we'll just have to admire him from a distance, knowing we may never see another like him again. Number 18, Selfie dog. Not every dog becomes an internet star, but Lucy did it without even trying. She is a pit bull terrier mixed with something you don't see every day, a face within a face. On her left ear, there is a natural marking that looks just like her own face, complete with eyes, a nose, and a mouth. It is like she is carrying a little portrait of herself everywhere she goes. Lucy came from Lollipop Farm, an animal shelter. At first, the staff didn't even notice her unusual marking. It was a visitor who pointed it out. Soon after, pictures of her selfie ear hit the internet, and she became a viral star. But there is more to Lucy than her looks. Her adoptive owner says she is a total couch potato who loves to snuggle up for naps. She is happiest when she is curled up next to her family, enjoying a lazy afternoon. Lucy's markings may have made her famous, but it is her sweet personality that makes her unforgettable. Number 17, fish with 2 mouths. A lake trout with 2 mouths sounds like something out of a tall tale, but one was actually pulled from the waters of New York. Debbie Geddes was out fishing when she felt a strong tug on her line. She expected a big fish, but what she reeled in left her stunned. The trout had not 1, but 2 mouths. She and her husband were shocked when they got a closer look. She later said she had never seen anything like it. The fish's lower mouth had been hooked, while the top one looked normal. Below it, a large opening connected directly to its body. Despite its strange appearance, the young lake trout seemed healthy. Geddes mentioned it was clearly still trying to eat. She and her husband usually catch and release, but they snapped a few photos of their rare find before letting it swim away. Geddes thinks the fish might have been injured by another angler, causing the bottom part of its mouth to tear open. Other people had different ideas. Some guessed it could be a birth defect. Others blamed pollution from nearby waters in Canada or Vermont. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation also looked into the photos. Their biologists believe it was most likely a rare biological anomaly, something unusual, but not unheard of in nature. Number 16, mutant pig. In 2018, a pig in southeast China gave birth to something that left the whole village stunned. A piglet with an elephant-like trunk on its forehead and a face that resembled a human. The tiny creature struggled to breathe. Its body twitched weakly in the villager's hand. Sadly, it passed away just 2 days after it was born. The strange sight was caught on camera in Jiangmen, Guangdong Province. Experts believe the piglet's unusual features were caused by a rare birth defect called holoprosencephaly, also known as Cyclops syndrome. This condition happens when the brain fails to divide properly during development. It can affect animals and even humans, sometimes causing facial deformities. The piglet's appearance may have been unsettling, but cases like this show us just how complex and unpredictable nature can be. Number 15. Calf with smiley face. A little calf with a big smile is stealing hearts in Australia. Meet Happy, born on March 10, 2023, at Bellbrook Holstein's farm in Ripplebrook, West Gippsland. What makes him special isn't just his charm. It is the 3 spots on his side that look exactly like a smiley face. Barry Coster, who owns Bellbrook Holsteins, said he had seen markings shaped like number 7s or hearts before, but never anything that looked like a smiley face. At first, Barry and his wife planned to keep Happy on their farm as a pet and let him live out his days as their trusty lawnmower. But Happy's future turned out to be much bigger. Instead of staying on the farm, he found a new home at Lardner Park. The park bought him with a $10,000 donation to West Gippsland Hospital. Lardner Park is a massive event space that hosts concerts, festivals, and other big gatherings. Happy now gets to roam across 300 acres of land and enjoy his new role as the park's mascot. It is not every day you meet a calf that brings joy just by being himself. Now, with his cheerful markings and a new home, Happy is spreading smiles wherever he goes. Number 14. Unicorn Puppy. A tiny puppy with an extra tail on his forehead made headlines in 2019. Just 10 weeks old and abandoned, he was taken in by Max Mission, a Missouri animal rescue for pets with special needs. Staff named him Narwhal, but the internet quickly dubbed him the Unicorn Puppy. His adorable photos and videos spread online, shining a spotlight on the rescue's important work. Veterinarians examined Narwhal and found no reason to remove the second tail. X-rays revealed it wasn't attached to anything internal and didn't cause him any pain. The extra tail, about a third the size of his real one, couldn't wag. It was just there, making him, as staff said, the coolest puppy ever. Experts believe the unique tail could be a result of a parasitic twin. In rare cases, when an embryo splits into twins, one may stop developing but leave behind extra parts, like limbs or organs. It's a rare phenomenon, but it gave Narwhal his unforgettable look. Today, Narwhal has grown into a cheerful, playful dog, full of curiosity and charm. Number 13. The Two-Headed Calf. At first glance, Annabelle looked like any newborn calf, but a closer look told a different story. Annabelle was no ordinary calf. She had 2 faces. This rare condition, known as diprosopis, happens when an embryo partially splits, creating a form of twinning. It is also so rare that it occurs only once in 400 million births. The news of Annabelle's birth spread fast, drawing reporters with cameras to capture the unusual sight. Annabelle struggled under the weight of her heads. She could not stand or nurse from her mother, who stayed close, visiting her regularly inside the enclosure. The farm owners fed Annabelle by bottle, giving her milk 4 times a day. When she drank with one mouth, the other moved along with it. Her breathing was strained, and her heavy heads made it hard for her to move. A veterinarian was called, but he explained that nothing could be done. Annabelle's condition was too severe. Despite her short life, her presence left an impression on those who cared for her. Number 12. Octogoat. A strange sight left a farmer questioning his own eyes. In the small village of Kujevo, Croatia, Zoran Paparic couldn't believe what he was looking at. His goat had just given birth, but one of the kids was unlike anything he had ever seen. It had 8 legs and both male and female organs. Unsure if he was losing his mind, he called a neighbor over to take a look. Local veterinarians explained that the kid, later nicknamed Octogoat, had absorbed an undeveloped twin while still in the womb. Octogoat came into the world alongside 2 other kids, both born completely normal. Sarka, a goat Zoran had owned for 4 years, had always delivered healthy triplets before. But this time was different. Even with twice the number of legs, Octogoat struggled. Its tiny, trembling legs couldn't hold its weight, leaving it unable to stand or walk. Experts didn't have high hopes. They believed Octogoat wouldn't make it through its first week. And if it did, they said it was unlikely to live beyond a couple of years. Despite the odds, Zoran mentioned that if Octogoat survived, he planned to keep it as a pet. As for what became of Octogoat after those first uncertain days, no one really knows. The outcome remains a mystery. Number 11, the bipedal dog. Faith's life didn't start easy. Born with a brain defect, her front legs never fully developed. She couldn't walk, and her own mother, a homeless dog, rejected her. The mother even tried to kill her. That's when 17-year-old Reuben Stringfellow found her and brought her to his mother, Jude. Things didn't get better right away. As time passed, Faith's front legs became weaker and had to be amputated. Some people, including veterinarians, said she should be put down, but Jude refused to give up. With only her 2 back legs, Faith learned something incredible. Jude taught her to stand, hop, and run, using a spoon with peanut butter as a reward. Slowly, Faith began walking all on her own. She didn't just walk, she walked upright, on 2 legs, just like a person. People couldn't believe their eyes. Faith became known all over the world. She met celebrities and even appeared on The Oprah Show. She also visited military bases and hospitals, bringing comfort and hope to wounded soldiers. Her courage meant so much to them that the United States Army made her an honorary sergeant. She was even considered for a role in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Faith's life touched many hearts. After years of inspiring people with disabilities, she passed away peacefully in the fall of 2014. Her legacy, though, lives on. Number 10. Henry the Strange. Henry wasn't like the other octopuses at Blackpool Sea Life. He had only 6 tentacles instead of the usual 8. No one noticed at first. He was caught off the coast of Wales, taken to a local zoo, and later moved to the aquarium along with 7 other octopuses. His mutation only became clear when he latched onto the glass of his tank, giving everyone a full view. Octopuses can regrow lost tentacles, but Henry didn't have any gaps where new ones could grow. That meant he hadn't lost them. He was born this way. Staff at the aquarium searched online and reached out to other aquariums, but no one had ever seen a 6-tentacled octopus before. That made Henry the first documented hexapus. Despite his unusual appearance, Henry wasn't a new species. He was a lesser octopus, just with a rare genetic mutation. The aquarium named him Henry, partly because it went well with hexapus. Some joked that he was actually named after King Henry VIII, the English ruler who had 6 wives, even though he could have had 8. Henry's condition was rare, but it didn't seem to bother him. He carried on like any other octopus, moving through the water with ease. His uniqueness just made him stand out a little more. Number 9. Squittens. Squittens look like something out of a strange experiment. These cats have short front legs and often stand upright, almost like squirrels. Some people once believed they were a mix between a squirrel and a cat. But that is just a myth. The real cause is a genetic condition called radial hypoplasia, or RH. This mutation affects how their front legs grow, leaving them underdeveloped. The severity of RH varies. In mild cases, squittens can still use their front legs, hopping a bit like rabbits. In more moderate cases, they rely mostly on their back legs, even using their tails to help with balance, kind of like kangaroos. But when the condition is severe, they move entirely on their hind legs and really do resemble squirrels when they stand. These cats don't just look unusual, they face challenges too. Climbing is tricky for them, especially when it's time to come down. Trees are particularly dangerous, and going downstairs can also be difficult. Some have even been seen going down backwards, as if that's the only way they feel safe. Squittens are also known as dinosaur cats or kangaroo cats because of the way they move. Despite their unusual appearance, they live normal cat lives, just with a few extra hurdles along the way. Number 8. Cyclops goat. A goat with a single oversized eye in the middle of its forehead was born in Assam, India, on May 10, 2017. The condition is called cyclopia, a rare birth defect caused when the brain doesn't split into 2 halves during development. Instead of forming 2 separate eye sockets, the fetus develops one large central eye. This little goat had more than just its unusual eye. It had only one fully formed ear and no proper nose. Its eyelids and eyelashes were missing, leaving the single eye exposed. The jaws were small and underdeveloped, with missing teeth. Its normal-sized tongue stuck out from one side, giving it an even more unusual appearance. Cyclopia is part of a broader disorder known as holoprosencephaly. It is a severe condition, and most newborns with it don't live longer than a day or two because of the many complications it causes. Surprisingly, this goat survived for more than a week, which shocked locals and veterinarians alike. The name Cyclops comes from the Greek word kouklops, which means round-eyed. In mythology, Cyclopes were one-eyed giants said to be the children of Poseidon, the god of the sea. While this goat wasn't a giant or part of a myth, its unusual appearance certainly made it memorable. Number 7. Frank and Louie. A cat with two faces sounds like something out of a myth, but it was very real. Frank and Louie was a cat with one head, two faces, and three eyes. Their condition, called diprosopia, causes parts of the face to be duplicated. It is a rare mutation that gives cats like this the nickname Janus cats, named after the Roman god with two faces. Most Janus cats don't survive longer than a few days. But Frank and Louie was an exception. On September 8th, 2011, they turned 12 and officially entered the Guinness Book of World Records. Despite having two faces, Frank and Louie shared one brain. Their middle eye, the largest of the three, didn't work. They ate with Frank's mouth because Louie's side didn't have a lower jaw or a working esophagus. Sadly, they passed away at the age of 15. It was an impressive run for a Janus cat, especially since most don't live long because of the health problems that come with the condition. Frank and Louie beat the odds for years, becoming a rare living example of how sometimes even nature's quirks can have a long, full life. Number 6. Clade the Cyclops. Clade the Cyclops shocked everyone the moment he was born. His owners had never seen anything like him, and they decided to share his story online. The Bengal kitten was delivered in a veterinarian's operating room after his mother had trouble giving birth. He was the second in the litter. But when he arrived, the entire room went silent. Instead of two eyes, he had only one in the center of his face. He had no nose, no eyelids, and struggled to breathe. Clyde did not survive for long. Without a nose, he couldn't get enough air, and he passed away soon after birth. His owners later explained that keeping him alive would have been cruel. Despite the sadness, they were grateful to have met him, even if just for a short time. One of the owners described the experience as something they never expected to witness and hoped never to go through again. While Clyde's life was brief, his story captured attention beyond the clinic walls. People around the world were amazed by the unusual kitten, and his owners felt comforted knowing his memory lived on. Now, it is time for today's subscriber's pick. Take a good look at this image. It is the kind of thing that makes you pause, blink twice, and ask yourself, is this even real? What you are seeing here is a strange creature that seems like it stepped right out of a sci-fi movie. Lying beside a goat, it leaves us wondering, how can something so unusual come from such a familiar farm animal? Animals that are born only once in 1,000 years can lead to curiosity, confusion, and even fear. Throughout history, strange animal births have been seen as signs, miracles, or even warnings. But science tells us that mutations, though rare, do happen. This might be one such case, where genetics played a wild card. So, what do you think? Have you ever seen or heard of anything like this before? Share your thoughts below. Number 5. Frog with 3 heads. It's not every day you see a frog with 3 heads. But in 2004, that's exactly what happened at Green Umbrella Nursery in the United Kingdom. A student, just dropped off for the day, spotted the strange creature in the garden. At first, the kids thought it was just 3 frogs huddled together. But when it hopped, they realized it was one frog, with 3 heads and 6 legs. The staff carefully caught the frog and placed it in a tank to observe it. By the next morning, it was gone. No one knows how it escaped. Witnesses said the frog's legs and eyes seemed to work normally, but it wasn't clear if all 3 mouths could eat. A biology professor from the Open University later said that while mutant frogs have been reported for centuries, One with 3 heads and 6 legs was something new. Experts suggested the cause might be parasites, pollution, or a genetic mutation. Some locals had other ideas. They wondered if the mutation was linked to the old Hinkley nuclear power station, just 12 miles away. Scientists didn't confirm the theory, but the mystery of the 3-headed frog left the nursery buzzing for weeks. Number 4. 3-eyed snake. A snake with 3 eyes sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it was all too real for rangers in Australia. While patrolling near Humpty Doo, a small town southeast of Darwin, they found a young carpet python with an extra, fully functioning eye right in the middle of its forehead. The rangers nicknamed the snake Monty and couldn't believe what they were seeing. Curious, they took Monty for an X-ray. They thought it might be 2 heads fused together, but the scan showed 1 skull with an extra eye socket. It was likely a rare mutation that happened during early development, not something caused by pollution or environmental damage. Carpet pythons are common in Australia and New Guinea and can grow as long as 9 feet. But Monty was just 16 inches, still a juvenile. Experts said it was surprising the snake even made it that far. Snakes with deformities like this often don't survive. Some die in the egg, and if they do hatch, many don't live long. In some cases, mother snakes even eat eggs that seem unhealthy. Monty's 3rd eye worked, though it wasn't clear how well the snake could use it. The discovery left scientists amazed, and the rangers shared photos of the unusual reptile online. For a while, Monty became a bit of a celebrity, showing just how strange and fascinating nature can be. Number 3. The dog with 2 noses. A dog with 2 noses? Sounds unusual, right? But for Toby, an Australian shepherd, it's completely normal. In 2014, Toby was found wandering the streets of Fresno, California. A local animal rescue group brought him to a shelter, unsure if anyone would want a dog with such a rare feature. Luckily, a man named Todd Ray came across Toby and didn't think twice about taking him home. Ray already had a soft spot for animals with odd quirks. He owned a 2-legged Chihuahua, a 5-legged miniature Doberman Pinscher, and even held the world record for the most 2-headed animals. Toby's double nose isn't a sign of any health problem. Vets confirmed it is a harmless birth defect, not an injury. His breathing is normal, and he doesn't even seem to notice he is different. The 2 noses sit side by side, giving him a curious and unforgettable look. Since his adoption, Toby has become a star at Ray's animal attraction. People are always surprised when they first see him, but it doesn't take long for them to fall in love. Ray often tells visitors that Toby is the sweetest, friendliest dog you could meet. While other dogs might get attention for fancy tricks or shiny coats, Toby's charm lies in his unique nose and his happy, playful personality. In the end, what makes him different is exactly what makes him special. Number 2. Lamb with 5 legs. A lamb with 5 legs. That's exactly what surprised a farmer in 2017 when Forrest, a spring lamb, was born with an extra limb. Unlike most lambs, Forrest had 4 regular legs and 1 shorter dangling leg on his side. The 5th leg didn't touch the ground, but it didn't slow him down either. He ran, drank, and played like any other lamb, unaware of the attention his unusual appearance attracted. His owner, amazed by the rare sight, mentioned that Forrest's extra leg had stirred up curiosity among the other lambs. The vet confirmed the little lamb was perfectly healthy despite the deformity. The extra limb was likely the result of a rare developmental quirk during pregnancy. Most lambs born with unusual features don't survive long, but Forrest proved different. His owner said they were surprised by how strong he was, calling him tough and full of life. It's not every day you see a 5-legged lamb hopping around the field, especially one that doesn't seem to mind being a bit different. Number 1. Kenny the white tiger. Kenny was a white tiger with a face that didn't look like other tigers. His jaw didn't close properly, and he had a mental disability. In the year 2000, he and his brother Willie were rescued by Turpentine Creek Wildlife Reserve in Arkansas. While Kenny had a deformed face, Willie, an orange-coated tiger, was cross-eyed. Both brothers were the result of inbreeding. Their parents were siblings, forced to mate by a breeder hoping to create a white tiger. When the cubs didn't turn out as expected, the breeder gave up on them. White tigers don't occur naturally. They only happen when closely related tigers are bred over generations. This process often leads to serious health problems. The same gene that makes their fur white also affects their optic nerves, causing them to be cross-eyed. Many white tigers also have cleft palates, club feet, spinal deformities, or weak immune systems. Some are born with organs that don't form correctly. Most white tiger cubs never survive. Many are stillborn, while others die young from health complications. Kenny managed to live longer than most, but he eventually passed away from cancer in 2008. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.